The year was 1978. James Dyson, a 30-year-old man in England, had an issue with his vacuum cleaner. He didn't like that vacuum cleaners lost suction as soon as the bags got clogged. Vacuum cleaners were invented in 1908 and there's been no major change in the way they worked over these 70 years. James wanted to change it. He wanted to get rid of the bag and use a cyclonic separator instead to make suction better and more stable. But few people believed in his idea. After all, if it was such a great idea, Hoover or Electrolux would have been making it already. But James was undeterred. He started experimenting with his idea and it started to occupy his entire time. The first experimental prototype wasn't good. He changed it and tried again. It still wasn't good. He changed it and tried again. It still wasn't good. He changed it and tried again, and again, and again, and again. Days, weeks, months were passing by, but he continued his experiments. He and their 3 children started living on the salary of his wife, a teacher, and experiments continued. Prototype number 500, 501, 502. They started taking loans to live by. They put their house as collateral, and the experiments continued. And each experiment was still failing. Experiment number 1000, 1001, 1002. Day in and day out for 5 years. After 5 years of persistent, determined work, after thousands of failed prototypes, on the 5,127th time, he finally had a product that worked perfectly. A vacuum cleaner that would never lose suction. It would not need replacement bags all the time. It would work with cyclone technology. A vacuum cleaner so good that it would catch dust as small as 0.3 microns, something the experts had said was impossible. For comparison, that is 200 times less than the thickness of a human hair. Do you think now he was finally done and success followed? No. Failures continued. He offered his patented technology to vacuum producers, but no one wanted it. No factory would produce his vacuum cleaners because they were making good money on selling bags. Years were passing by and his debts continued piling up. It took him another 10 years before he started producing his vacuum cleaners himself because almost no one else agreed to do it. And so, after 15 years of failures upon failures, 15 years of living in debt, in 1993, James Dyson produced and offered Dyson vacuum cleaners for the first time to the public in the UK. And within 18 months, those vacuum cleaners became the best sellers in the country. Today, Dyson is a huge company with 14,000 employees globally and close to $8 billion of revenue per year. A company that reinvented not only the vacuum cleaner but also many other home appliances. Today, Dyson is a global brand known for innovation. How could James Dyson persist for so long? Failure after failure. He could persist for so long because of the way he looked at failure. Failure is the best way to learn. Success is often the result of measured experimentation, and failure is an essential element in this process. Failure is the learning mechanism of successful people. James Dyson was not an engineer by education. He was an artist and a designer. He learned to engineer the world's best vacuum cleaner through 5,126 lessons. Lessons that no other teacher could have taught, no one but failure. In some organizations today, when you take on a challenge and you succeed, no one is thanking you. But when you take on a challenge and you fail, fingers start pointing, heads start rolling. That is the most destructive way of looking at failure. Attitude to failure is the key lesson of this story, and we'll come back to it. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdullo and I'm co-founder of Alif, a challenger bank in Tajikistan and a fintech in Uzbekistan, with a team of over 1,000 amazing individuals. Today I want to tell the story of how Alif is helping people to move from cash to digital payments. 10 years ago, cash was pretty much the only way people bought and sold things in Tajikistan. We had bank cards, but 95% of transactions were cash withdrawals from the ATMs. Total volume of actual payments using these cards was just $35 million in 2013. Paying for utility bills usually meant going to the bank and sometimes standing in a queue for hours, or going to a kiosk terminals with cash. Giving someone money usually meant taking a transport and seeing them in person. Remittances, a major source of income for thousands of families, were similarly all cash-based. That is, our migrants would physically go to a bank to give cash, and their families here would physically go to a bank to pick up the money. Dealing in cash is quite costly, but more importantly, it is wasteful of our most precious resource, time. To try to tackle these and other similar challenges, in 2013 we wanted to open an Islamic bank in Tajikistan, but we could not convince any investors. That was our first failure. Nevertheless, we decided to start small with our own little savings we had, and in 2014, together with my co-founder Firdaus Mirzaev and Zusho Rahmatullayev and an angel investor, we started Alif with the smallest financial license we could obtain. Among our other products, soon we started working on a mobile wallet, an app that would put payments, remittances, peer-to-peer money sending, paying for utility bills, mobile services and hundreds of other services all at the fingertips of our clients. We first decided to use a ready-made solution from a foreign technology company. We didn't believe we could write this technology ourselves, and using a well-established technology provider seemed to be more reasonable. It was another wrong decision. It took about 18 months to launch the project, much longer than originally planned, and even afterwards the statistics of usage by clients was not very encouraging. But we continued working on it. Eventually, we decided that the only way we can fix issues and introduce features faster to our clients would be to write the technology from scratch ourselves. Over time, a great team of managers and IT engineers had come together in Alif, and this time we knew exactly what we wanted to build, so it took us about 7 months to launch our own application. Numbers were finally growing. We worked on connecting as many merchants as possible and as many ways possible to top up the wallet. While paying using the mobile wallet was easy, adding money to the wallet was still an issue and it had to be made easier. In parallel those days, we had a team working on Korti Milli, our national card system like Visa or MasterCard, but locally for Tajikistan. At the time, there were about 1.6 million cards issued in the country, and most of them were Korti Milli. But there was no technology for online payments, and our team had decided to take on this challenge. Our developers wrote the necessary code, and in collaboration with the Korti Milli team, for the first time in the country, Korti Milli could now be used for online and mobile payments. However, initially we focused on web-based applications rather than mobile-based applications. We built and promoted web-based acquiring, web-based remittances and web-based card-to-card money transfers. All of these services which are done really well in other countries, but despite spending a lot of time and effort on them here in Tajikistan, web-based payments didn't become popular because everything had already moved to mobile. So we probably waste a lot of precious time building and promoting these services. This was another failure on our journey. Thankfully, soon we pivoted towards mobile. We built and promoted a feature that all Korti Milli users in the country could now just link their card with the Alif Mobi app and use their Korti Milli card balance to make payments inside the app in just a few seconds. This product was well received and helped us grow faster. Sending money to someone, receiving money from abroad, or paying for electricity bills have never been easier. We continued taking on new challenges, and in 2019 we expanded our operations to Uzbekistan. Our first service was an installment product, and we wanted to launch Alif Mobi soon as well. That meant that our application had to take into account multiple countries and all the related nuances. We also wanted to store transactional information in the cloud while keeping the personal information in local service in each country. So it had to be a hybrid solution using both cloud and local data centers. We realized that the first version of Alif Mobi we had written did not take into account these points, and this was not going to be easy to change now. In fact, because we had failed to anticipate these requirements, we had to rewrite the software from scratch once again. Initially, we thought it would take just 3 to 4 months. how wrong we were. It took 13 months and it was quite a stressful period. During this time, we have stopped working on the existing application and could not bring any new meaningful features to our existing clients or fix the inconveniences in the app. It is important for us to remember that while we take on ambitious projects, launch new products and technologies, we can never take risks with our risk management. We are operating in a sector with one of the highest levels of responsibility, and that realization must be at the core of everything we do. And moving to the hybrid data storage architecture proved to be much more difficult than we thought. Working with the test data, we were learning as we went and failing multiple times along the way until we were sure that everything worked safely. Eventually, the team launched the all-new version of Alif Mobi in Tajikistan in July and in Uzbekistan in December of 2021. And soon enough, the new app started gaining even faster popularity, and its significantly upgraded features proved quite convenient for the public. In the meantime, in 2020, we finally got our banking license in Tajikistan, and within a year, we were voted as the most trusted bank in the country. Alif Mobi became a major component of Alif's ecosystem and our relationship with clients. Today, Alif Mobi is the dominant financial app in Tajikistan with close to $1 billion in total volume of transactions processed last year, tripling in volume every year. And we estimate our market share at about 50% of all mobile payments in the country. It's such a pleasure when I hear in some restaurant or shops that Alif Mobi and Alif Bank cards account for much more of their sales than cash. To this day, we're still working on numerous challenges, some local, some global. And we are making measured experiments, failing and learning. Early on in the life of Alif, we wrote our 7 values, and one of them says there's no progress without failure. We want Alifians to boldly take on complex challenges, and when we fail, to talk about those challenges and share the lessons learned freely with one another, and by doing so, to reduce the chances of repeating mistakes and becoming stronger and more resilient. And if there's one takeaway from this talk, it is this: whatever you're doing in your life, aim high and work hard. And if you fail, which happens often, learn the lesson, change the direction if you need to, but keep going. Don't stop. Let your failures guide you. There's no guarantee of success, but it's the only way. Thank you.